Welcome to Law Ruler. We're glad you're here. This tutorial will help familiarize you with the power of Law Ruler Expenses feature. Law Ruler Expenses does it all and can handle soft costs due to the firm, hard costs due to third-party vendors, and provide special handling for settlement expenses. It is versatile and can handle any type of expense. When you're ready to add a new expense, you can click on the Add Expense button on the top right side of the page. You'll first need to decide what cost type the expense is going to be. Law Ruler currently supports multiple cost types for complete flexibility. Hard costs or third-party vendor expenses are an expense due to a third party that was paid for as part of the case. Think of things like experts, travel tickets, court filing fees, etc. Usually most hard costs are billable to the client since they are incurred by the firm as part of the case. So you have the option to select whether this cost is going to be billable to the client by selecting the billable to client on-off switch. Soft costs, or due to our firm, is an expense that is due to the firm that you want to be reimbursed for by the client, not a third-party vendor. Some examples could be mileage, photocopies, paper, firm administrative fees, etc. There are also settlement costs, which are usually for contingency cases and will normally include special damages, client debts or medical bills that the client is responsible to pay, and that may be deducted from the settlement by your law firm. Special damage hold for settlement is an expense that's owed by the client, such as a hospital bill. Settlement loan hold for settlement is a loan expense owed by the client to a finance company. And other client debt hold for settlement is a client expense debt, such as an insurance payment or burial expense, or anything else you need to pay on behalf of the client that would not be a special damage or settlement loan. Once you've selected your expense type, you can select whether there be a lien or hold on this expense, and you can do that by selecting the lien hold selector switch. If you do choose to add a lien or hold, then you will be required to select what type of hold or lien from the lien type drop-down list. Generally speaking, liens and holds are used for settlement expenses and will be considered during a settlement, but they may be needed for hard costs, so we made them available for hard costs for your firm. Now once you've decided whether there is going to be a lien or hold on this expense, you're going to be asked to select the vendor. You can select the vendor from this list over here. If you don't see your vendor on this list, then you can always add them by going to the setup and the billing settings and adding a vendor to the vendor list. Now once you've decided on your vendor, you can go ahead and select that. The next field will be the date issued. By default, it will be the current date, but it is editable in case you need to post date some of these expenses. The next field is the invoice number. This is the vendor invoice number, and it's completely optional field for you to add. The next field to configure is the amount billed. This is actually the per unit cost for this expense. Once you have that inputted, and we'll go ahead and input number 5. Next is going to be the quantity. This is actually the amount of units that it's going to be billed, and then the total will automatically calculate the complete bill. And once you have the total amount for the bill configured, you'll need to select a category from the category drop-down list. This is actually the billing category of this expense. Law Ruler comes preloaded with UTMBS and LEDES billing codes. Now once you've selected your billing category, you again have the option to choose whether this is going to be billable to the client. And once you've decided that, you can always add in a description for the description of this bill, and you can always use our document widget to upload any documents that are going to be associated with this expense. Now once you've gone ahead and configured your expense, you can choose the green Create Expense button to actually create the expense in Law Ruler. Now that your expense has been created, you have the option to filter, sort, and export your expenses directly from Law Ruler. So the filters are pretty simple. You can select exactly what types of filters you want to see on the top right here. And if you want to go ahead and export your expenses, you just go ahead and select these different checkboxes with the types of expenses you want to export, and you click the green Export button over here to create an Excel export of your expenses. You also have the ability to run a report on your expenses, and to do that, we'll go to the Reports module located on the left side of the page, and we're going to choose the Case Expenses Report, and that will generate a report of all the expenses associated with this case. As always, thank you for choosing LawRuler. If you have any support questions, we are here to help. You're always welcome to contact us via email at support@lawruler.com, and you can always access our online support forum located at support.lawruler.com. If you ever need done-for-you consulting, it is billed hourly and available for you, so please inquire whenever you need our expert team to do something on your behalf.